Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to all you brothers out there doing the work of sincerity and truth, striving for the whole full elect, and during all afflictions and seeking out your own salvation with fear and trembling. This is Yahweh Tazal coming back with another video. Just want to go into just talking about this current existence, this current eon, this age, being here in Babylon the Great, and just just touching up and reiterating and showing through scriptures what's more important versus this temporal world. This world, this current age, this eon, this age is temporary. Okay, it's not forever. It's not meant to be forever. This is actually a place of where your Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians are going to serve slavery and be put through oppression, depression, madness, insanity. You're going to be doing acts that are heinous crimes that are in the eyes of the Lord, but because of this condition that we've been put in, which a lot of people don't know, that this is hell on earth. So the men of the Lord, which by way of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, sent to prophesy unto you, to sound this trumpet, to warn you, to bring you back to who you are as a people, to bring back the joy of the Spirit into you, to know that you are a prince of power, that you are a child of the Most High. Okay, so, and to come back to the good graces of with you, between you and the Father and the Son, or to the Father, because the Son Yahweh Shai is the mediator between us and the Most High, and we had to obey the Most High and the Son. All right, so I just want to bring out Micah 2 and verse 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, and it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction." So in our current age, in this time, it's telling us that we have to arise and depart. So how are you going to arise and depart? You can't go nowhere. So it's talking about it's spiritual. You have to get up from within yourself, your current mind state, and choose this day whether you're going to serve the Lord or you're going to continue to serve the gods on the other side of the river. All right. You got to separate yourself spiritually, because you can't do it physically. Once you do it once you start doing it spiritually, physically, your body's going to follow. Everything's going to change. The way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you think, the way you move, in all different aspects, the body's going to follow. But you're not going to escape, Salaki, you're not going to escape the prophecies that are going to be implemented on the earth. They're going to happen. They're going to come to pass. The destruction, the disease, pestilence, plagues, violence, all these forms of destruction, they're still going to be implemented on the earth. But the Lord is telling you, arise ye and depart. Okay? Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with the sore destruction. So if you remain under the covering of Egypt and the spirit of this world, the power of this world, you're going to be destroyed. Okay. Let me get this one. Salakia, man, just got done eating. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 13. It says, Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. For the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. Right, so you got to set your house in order. Arise. You got to rise up, wake up out of sleep. Let me get this other one. Let me go ahead and bring it up here. Salakia. Ephesians. Start at Ephesians 5:14. It says, Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead. Because when we're dead in these bodies, because the flesh is corruptible, it's corruption, is a chains of darkness. So we have to, and being here in America as well, Great Babylon is you gotta arise from the dead. Like going back to the valley of dry bones that Ezekiel has seen, that's the condition, the state that Yasha'Allah, Israel, who are the Negro Latinos and Native American Indians, are under. A lot of them not gonna wake up, but the elect are going to wake up, and they're gonna the elect are going to be given all the information, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that is going to be able to cover them in that time. Because like I said, arise ye, depart, for it is polluted, and it shall destroy you with the sword destruction. So other people are woke, right? But there's levels to everything. The elect are at the highest level of being delivered. They're at the highest level. They're the ones that got that golden ticket, all right? That are going to receive complete salvation, redemption, all the benefits of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai in the times that are coming, the great perilous times, great destruction that I read just right now in 2nd Esdras 14. Okay, so you have to set your house in order, awake out of sleep, arise, rise up. Ephesians 5:14, it says, and Yahweh Shai Mashiach shall give thee light. Right? What is that light? It's good. That light represents the law, statutes, and commandments, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Prophecy. And the prophecy is what things are yet to come. So, and you're going to hearken unto these things, and you're going to move in the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right? In the spirit. You're going to put off the weak nature. You're going to put off, which is the flesh, the mortal thoughts, etc. And then you're going to put off the world, the spirit of this world. And you're going to move and light. All right. Verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Now, to be circumspect means you're able to see. So you're not only going to be able, we see all day with our eyeballs, right? We see all day with our eyes that are flesh, that are within the skull and these eye sockets, right? But it's talking about see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So it's talking about spiritually discernment, having spiritual discernment, discretion, proper judgment, all those things. Okay? So circumspect is the eye in a circle. So you're watching everything at a 360 degrees awareness, conscientious to your surroundings. You're observing the time. You're meditating, and you're measuring the times in itself through prophecy. Okay, but not as fools, but as wise. Now, I did a lesson, and when you go into that word, man, I want to bring it out. Let me see. I don't want to miss any scriptures. Okay, because it says not as a fool, but as wise. Let me see if we'll bring it up. If not, I'll just go to the main one. Because to be a fool, it says unwise, foolish. So you're not being wise, all right? You're contrary to wisdom. But let me go to the main one. Lord willing, I can find it again. So let me remember to come back to Ephesians 5:15. So let's go to it's in let me see. It's in Ecclesiastes. right here. Okay, Ecclesiastes 10:6, folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low places, which the rich are the Negro Latinos, the Native American Indians, Israelites, but primarily it's the elect right now. So let's look at that word folly. All right. See, it says folly. Go down here to Strong's definition. It says silliness. Okay, let's go to the root word. Okay, it says outline the biblical usage: to be foolish, be a fool; to make foolish, turn into foolishness; to act or do foolishly, to do foolishly, play the fool. Strong's definition, it says to be silly. Okay, let's look at this other root word. And I'm reading all the way through because, like I said, I stumbled across it the other day when I made a lesson, and it stuck out to me how the ruler of this world is folly. And he allows folly to be published and advertised unto the world. Okay, so here it says the outline of biblical use: to be foolish, be stupid; properly, to be fat, that is figuratively, silly. Okay, what did it say? That Jeshurun shall wax fat. So they've waxed fat, like they've put off anything that is righteous, and they've become at opposition against the Most High. They became stupid, sottish children. The 2/3, these heathens. All right. Let's look up. I think I looked up this word, silly. Okay. Yep. Silly in the dictionary, it says having or showing a lack of common sense or judgment, absurd and foolish. So I remember when we used to always say common sense is not so common. So these people, especially in this time and age that we're in right now, there's so much folly and wickedness, violence. Every heinous crime is being committed in the earth and is being published, and people are waxing worse and worse. There's a lack of common sense. They're all reprobates. Okay, they lack any kind of form of righteous judgment, understanding, discernment, discretion. It's just all out foolishness, being silly, sottish children. So you got to arise and depart from this place. All right, it says having or showing a lack of common sense or judgment, absurd and foolish, ridiculously trivial or frivolous. That's it on there. Okay, so let's go back. I just wanted to bring out that word silly. Let's go to Ephesians 5 again and 15. See then, you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be you not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And the will of the Lord is doing the work, going out to the highways and the byways, presenting your body a living sacrifice, rehearsing the righteous act, which is the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Okay, and confessing the name of the Father and the Son unto the world before the face of the heathen, denouncing yourself, your flesh, mortifying yourself. That's what it's all about. Like it says in Ecclesiastes, what's the whole duty? What's the conclusion of the whole matter? What's the duty of man? It says to fear the Most High and obey His commandments. What's the beginning of knowledge and wisdom? Is the fear of the Lord. Okay, and that's what the whole world has forgotten, and they're not under. The Spirit is not with them for them to have that type of what's the conviction, remorse of their wickedness or sin or whatever, their heinous crimes against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Right? So going back to Ephesians 5 and 17, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Right, so you got to be filled with the Spirit, which is going to be your ticket out. Matter of fact, In that same book, let's go to Ephesians 1 and 13. It says, in whom you also trusted after that you heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also after you believed, you were sealed with that Holy Spirit of promise, which is the earnest of our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession unto the praise of his glory. All right. So that's what you want to do, man. You want to wake up out of sleep. You want to arise, put on the whole armor of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, put on, have be filled with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the Spirit, because that's what's going to be your deliverance out of this place. All right. Let me see what else I had lined up. See here. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 4 and 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us far more exceeding an eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are that are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen, are eternal. Okay. So this light affliction, that's how the Lord's likened it to, because it's really nothing in the eyes of the Lord. But in the being in the body and us going through this walk, this life, through the valley of the shadow of death, it's hard, it's painful, but that's part of the process. Also says that about Yahweh Shai. Let me see, it's in Ephesians or Hebrews, I believe. Hebrews 2 and 10. I'll start at verse 9. But we see Yahweh Shai, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of the Most High should taste death for every man. For it became him, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. So it's needful that we go through these trials and tribulations, suffering, because it's going to be the thing that worketh your patience. It's going to break down the flesh. It's going to break down the ego, and you're going to become more spiritual. You're going to reason within yourself by way of the scriptures, filtering things. You're going to be more visual, mentally circumspect, having discernment, discretion. You're going to have all these different attributes to help you to calculate and strategize yourself within this walk, within this hell, this life. Because at every turn, every waking moment, we're faced with death. We're not guaranteed nothing. Okay? And that's the beautiful thing about Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, is that he's given us the men of the Lord and the highways and the byways, the Holy Bible, the scriptures, which is the Holy Spirit, to comfort us, to warn us, to aid us, to succor, comfort us. All right? Because he knew that we were going to need another comforter. He knew that we were going to be here until it was a set time. His Father was going to give his Son the green light to come and redeem the elect. But we had to go through these things. But in the midst of that, the Spirit was going to be poured out, and the elect are going to wake up. So you got to wake up. You wake up and you start doing what you have to do. You start exercising. You start moving with motivation, passion, and the Lord will do the rest. Okay? He's the one that's going to give us the increase. He's going to be the one that's going to give you the increase of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? Because if not, you will be destroyed here on this side. And America is a great Babylon, and it's going to be taken out by way of thermonuclear destruction. Okay? Um, let's get this one. Let's see. This is Romans 13:11. It says, "And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believed." It's nearer than we believed. It's always been there, because that's how the brothers have always been. Is that hastening the day of the Lord, right? Look. Let's see. This is 2 Peter 3:11. And when you read up, it's gonna give you a visual of destruction by fire. But I'm gonna start at 2 Peter 3:11. "Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?" The conversation is not talking about what you're speaking. Here, look. It's anastrophe, which is the outline of biblical usage. It says the manner of life, conduct, behavior, and deportment. Strong's definition is the behavior. Okay, let's look at what behavior is. It says the way in which one acts or conducts oneself, especially toward others. The way in the which, or the way in which a natural phenomenon or a machine works or functions. Okay, so the Lord, if you're of Israel, you're supposed to have certain characteristic attributes that other heathens don't. So you are to conduct yourself in the way the Lord created you in his image. Okay, but to the elect, it's gonna be by way of the Spirit, the fruits of the Spirit, rehearsing the righteous acts, not working no ill to their neighbor, being at peace with all men, but also if they have the duty of a prophet, they're gonna be out there, rebuking, harping the harping, sounding the trumpet, exhorting, admonishing, teaching, breaking down scriptures, having revelation, having visions, dreams, and giving information, relaying information unto the people. All right. So there it's talking about the manner of life, conduct, behavior, deportment. Okay. Verse 12, "Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness." And that's what we're looking for and waiting for, and that's what exactly needs to happen, and that's what's going to happen. This shit's not going to be forever, like the way they think. They think that their houses are going to continue from generation to generation. It's not. But if that's what they want to believe, the Lord has set that delusion within themselves, and that's what it is. But to the elect, we're telling you that it's not going to be like this forever. But in the meantime, you got to arise. You got to rise up. Let the day star rise up within your hearts, your mind, and lighten you up to that enlightenment towards Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And stop listening to these other camps. Stop listening to these preachers on the television or whatever, or your mommy or your daddy or grandma. You got to listen to the brothers on the highways and the byways, which ultimately is under through GMS, Great Millstone. All right. Let me look up that word here in verse 12, looking, because it's going to go into the mind. It's Slakia right here. If I'm not mistaken, it says to watch. The outline biblical usage says to expect, whether in thought, in hope, or in fear. To look for, wait for. Strong's definition says to watch, to anticipate, in thought, hope, fear. By implication, to await. So that's what it means to look. Is that you're anticipating in thought, not just with your eyes. This is a mental thing. This is a mental game. That's why it's spiritual. Okay. Let's look right here. The root word, the outline of biblical use. It says to the advantage of, at, nearby, to, towards, with the regard to. Okay. So it says looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day. Let's look at that hasten. To haste, make haste, to desire earnestly. Probably strengthened from G4228, to speed, study. That is, i.e. is that is, urge on diligently or earnestly. By implication, to await eagerly. Okay. So Godspeed. That's the type of attitude you should have, is wanting to be delivered out of this place, and that we need Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to come back earnestly, desirously, passionately, crying unto the Heavenly Father and His Son to come back. But of course, it's going to be on their own time, but it's still part of our spirit to want that, to behave that way, to want to be rescued, because we're under our captives. We're in hell. We're surrounded by demons. And it's ironic how all these people on the social media are saying demon time. They're demons, females, males getting tattooed on their body, demons, angel or demon. It's all prophetic. These people know exactly what they're doing. They're black and white. That's why the Lord said, I'd rather you be hot or cold, but because you're lukewarm, I'm gonna spew out my mouth. Okay. And America, because she wants to adorn herself as a beautiful woman, but the Lord has lifted her up and found that she's a nasty woman, an adulterous woman, a harlot. So the Lord's going to burn her up, along with the 2/3 and all the rest of the heathens that have a problem, that are contrary to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They're going to be destroyed. Okay. So let's go back to Romans 13. I'm going to end it here. Okay. Romans 13:11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believed. The night is far spent. Right? This is the night time is under this current ruler, which was Esau. The day is at hand, which is the Yahweh Shai's time. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. Cast off the works of darkness. Rise up, awake out of sleep, and depart. For this is not your rest. These bodies that we have, you think you have a bad body because you go to the gym and all that stuff. It's not going to be compared to nothing that the Lord is going to give you in the kingdom. Nothing on this side is going to be of any kind of comparison to what it's going to be like in the kingdom of heaven. All right. So it says, let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting, drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. And to put on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is His word, because it says it comes in the volume of a word. And He said that the words that I speak are unto you are spirit and they are life. So you got to put on this. This is your light. This is your armor. This is your buckler. This is your shield. Okay? This is your tower that you run into. This is your comfort zone that you're supposed to run to. This is your father and your mother. And you put on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, your beautiful garments, which is representation of the law, statutes, and commandments, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, to make no provision to the flesh, to fulfill the lust thereof. So what